I'm going to take a guess that you've had young men reach out that are like at the verge of ending their lives.
All the time.
How does
All
it
the
feel
I
to
had one.
know
I
that
had one
you've
today.
talk to me about that?
Um, it's a big burden, firstly, because like even though like a lot of young men see me as like a role model, I've never ventured on this journey to become a role model. It just kind of happened. So I feel like it's a lot of pressure on me. Like these guys look at me like Dr. Phil or something, like, like I'm always gonna have the best advice, always gonna steer them in the right direction. But the thing is, like, I wasn't always like perfect in my own like journey. I had many hiccups on the way. I was a fucking drug addict for a long time, and I made many, many, many mistakes, and I wasn't by far from perfect. But the thing is, like, I kind of learned and grew through my life, and just coming of age and becoming a bit more mature. As you've realized now, you're on the same age as me, so you know what
Yeah.
it's like to kind of like mature and
Yeah, big
and
time.
grow through the trials and tribulations of life. So it's just, I guess, more me documenting that, and then people seeing the changes in me over the last decade or 15 years or whatever I've been on social media, and I think that's what's kind of like inspired them. But I mean, yeah, I've had lots of young dudes, that are missing father figures or older brother figures, or that just don't have a positive male role model influence, and a lot of them come to me and just say, "You've saved my life. Watching your stories gives me entertainment and great joy. It pumps me up before the gym every time. Like I'll be out, I'll be thinking of like you, like how hard you train, and it motivates me to train hard." I'm like, shit. I'm like, being myself has inspired a whole generation of men to want to be something great and just push harder. It's
Mm.
incredible.
How does it feel? Because I mean, without going too far back into the past or rehashing a lot of the stuff you've already gone through, like I think, pardon me. I think you know the pain of loss obviously better than anyone. It's well documented.
Yeah.
We're not going to go back into that today because you've been through that, to your credit. And I'm the oldest of four boys, and it's weird. We're both 37. We're both the oldest brothers, so that's a pain that like I could never. Sometimes I can't even take myself there because I say to people who I mentor who are struggling, and I'm like, bro, sometimes I know people, like, let's just take your situation, for example, your worst day, they would kill for that to be their worst day, because sometimes people go through trauma that's so deep that it's just unfathomable. So it's something that I know quite well. How does it feel to know that, like, when someone does reach out with that problem and, they may be looking at ending their lives, that you're preventing other people from having to go through that loss? Have you thought about that before?
I haven't thought about that per se, but I feel like the more I get thrown with like things like that, I feel like it's kind of like my life duty and life calling. I feel like I've been put in the position because people look at me as like a beacon of hope for people that have gone through like trauma and really bad, like, painful trauma in their life. And they look at me and they think, hey, if this guy was managed to become successful and make something of himself and always have a smile on his face. And let me tell you, I
Yeah.
don't always have a smile on my face. Like there's a lot of dark times, but social media doesn't capture everything. But in saying that, I feel like if these young dudes are looking to me to kind of like steer them in the right direction, it's incredibly rewarding.
Do you feel like a
Is the
privilege?
feeling. I feel like it's a bit of a privilege, and it's a bit of power that I have to be very careful with, because hell, if I was a shit cunt, I could easily tell people, and yeah, just go party and take drugs,
Yeah.
have fun at festivals, and do lots of steroids. And even though I did all those things myself,
Do as I say, not as I do.
yeah, even though I did all those things myself, I'm like, guys, listen, the grass is kind of greener on the other side, just a
Yeah.
more humble lifestyle without all the fucking partying and bullshit. Like, you don't need to do this to have fun. You can actually do less of this and more of this. Focus more on like actually like building your body and your mind at a younger age than partying,
Yeah.
senseless partying with people that aren't really your friends. And like,
Oh,
and
that's
then
a big
people,
one.
and then people kind of learn from me because I was the party boy.
They say
I
that
was the guy, Mr. fucking Stereosonic. Like I was
well,
like one of those in those group of guys that everyone would see as like party boy, fuck boy,
yeah.
this and that. So like for me to like kind of be like, guys, this lifestyle's kind of fucking shit. And I found more love and enjoyment as a competitive bodybuilder and a businessman.
Mm.
And I'm like way more secure and happy in myself now. So a lot of guys would be like, you know what? They'll look at me and they'll be like, fuck. I mean, if Chesty's like saying that and he's done it all and he's pretty real and honest, and like maybe it's not as good. Maybe I should listen to him. Maybe I should just like fucking stop partying as much and work a bit harder on this side business I've got, or this side hustle. Maybe I
Yeah.
should focus more on my bodybuilding and clean up my diet and stop chasing women and all the things that don't matter,
That
because
stuff comes when you're succeeding anyway.
yeah.
Like
And
when you
it's
hit
like,
a certain level, that stuff just comes.
yeah, exactly. And it's like
Yeah.
I also think it's like a maturity thing. So